In 2025, the underground scene really expanded, and I highlighted that in my last video. And the scene expanded because artists were actually doing their jobs, dropping music, making themselves be known, making themselves be seen. It wasn't like they were just dropping singles or, a couple snippets. They were dropping albums. Like, I think 2025 had probably the most albums from the bigger names in the underground in a long time. Some of the new guys like Pretty Fun, they dropped their deluxe albums. You have guys like Nine Vicious dropping like 2 projects in 1 year. And some of the more underground mainstream guys like Osamason and Chay dropping their most anticipated albums in the year 2025. And that's what this video is for. In this video, I'm gonna go over my top 5 underground albums that released in the year 2025. And my list may look completely different from y'all's list. One of y'all favorite albums might be at list 5, or it might be at rank number 1. It's gonna be completely subjective, but this is all my opinion. So comment down below what your guys' favorite albums that released this year was. Whether it be from a more established artist like Osamason and Chay, or maybe a guy that we haven't heard of yet, let me know down in the comments, because I'm always open to new music recommendations and also giving them an actual listen. But before we get into the actual video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, because it means a lot and let me know that you guys are actually enjoying the content that I'm putting out and you guys want to see more of it. Last video, you guys showed insane support, and I'm thankful for all of you guys that tuned in. Right now, we're on the road to 500 subscribers, and I would love to hit it by the end of 2025. But without further ado, let's get into the actual video. And at number 5, we're actually going to have Rest in Bass by Chay. And that might surprise a lot of you guys due to how anticipated that album was and how successful it was for Chay's career. Rest in Bass was Chay's only album that he put out in 2025, but I feel like he doesn't need to put out another one because of how much hype Rest in Bass already had. He's either been teasing that album for like a year plus or a couple of months. And in that time, the snippets that he was putting out, the leaks that were coming out, they were insane. So I knew Rest in Bass was going to be one of my favorite Chay projects, but when the album actually came out, it took me aback because it was not what I was expecting at all. It was basically like paying homage to Whole Lotta Red, and no one kind of caught on to that until it actually released. And I didn't either, but now looking back at all the snippets that he was previewing, you could kind of hear that influence, but that album was crazy for Chay. It was basically a whole evolution in his sound, something we really never heard before. It had a lot more screaming, his vocals were a lot more just kind of plain, but he also elevated them in a way. Because as you guys know, with his older projects, he would do the vocal glitches, he would change his preset a whole lot. Like, this was a completely new Chay on Rest in Bass. And the more and more I listen to it, I kind of hear more of Chay than I did Whole Lotta Red like the first few listens. Because if you guys go listen to that album, or it's your first time listening to that album, you would definitely hear the Whole Lotta Red influence. But the more and more you listen to it and listen to Chay's older songs, you hear how Chay kind of molded that sound into his own kind of way and his own craft. So overall, Rest in Bass was not a bad album. It was actually one of the best albums we had. And as I said before, it was Chay's most anticipated album. And I feel like it lived up to the hype, if not even surpassed the expectations I put for it, or maybe even Chay put for it. In terms of ranking for that album, I would have to give it like a solid 8.5 out of 10. If anything, I would just like to see more of his older sound on that project, because he did deliver that with songs like Marceline, but he did just dive headfirst into this kind of Whole Lotta Red homage sound, and I kind of respect that. Like, he knew what he wanted to do with this project, and he doesn't seem to be slowing down with it for the Rest in Bass Deluxe. So yeah, I'm pretty comfortable ranking that this album is going to be number 5 on my list, and let me know what you guys think of this album in the comments, and if you guys agree with my ranking. Next up, we're actually going to have someone who I haven't been hearing a lot of talks about this year, but I personally loved his album. That being Protect and his album 500 Days of Summer. And I know you guys might be looking at me crazy for having this above Rest in Bass, but remember, this is all subjective. You guys would easily put Rest in Bass over Protect's album like 10 times over. Like, you guys probably wouldn't even give Protect's album a listen. And to be completely honest with you guys, I was in that same boat. Like, when Protect was teasing 500 Days of Summer, I was tapped in a little bit, but I was not looking at every single snippet he was teasing, any tweets he was putting out on the album. I didn't even know about it until it actually released. But I definitely knew about Protect. Like, I listened to his old album a whole lot, like, especially when it first came out. But when 500 Days of Summer actually dropped, it kind of blew me away, because I know Protect was good, but I just liked the way how he kind of switched up the flow on this project. It was a lot more calm, it was a lot more easy on the ears. It wasn't that kind of heavy grunge sound that the underground is kind of known for right now. It was a lot more peaceful and a lot more melodic, and Tech got more melodic on this album. And I found myself listening to it a whole lot more than Rest in Bass. While I did listen to Rest in Bass a decent amount, I always find myself going back to 500 Days of Summer over and over and over. One of my favorite things about 500 Days of Summer is the production. The beats are so cool to me. Like, I love the production on this album. It still kind of has those loud 808s, but they're not too loud to the point where it's kind of like blended in with every other underground beats or every other underground artist. It has like its own kind of signature style to it. And that's one thing an artist needs to know how to do. Beat selection is one of the crucial things that goes into making music that a lot of artists tend to overlook. Just because it sounds similar to a most popular song from your favorite artist does not mean that it's going to sound good all the time. I feel like Protect diversified the type of beats that we heard on this album. And after listening to the album in its entirety, I went back and looked at the promo material for the album, whether it be visuals, snippets that he would put out, and it kind of got me more hyped to go re-listen to the album. I feel like Protect was really, really underrated this year, and I feel like 500 Days of Summer is really, really underrated. And I hope that my ranking on this list makes some of you, or even one of you guys, go listen to that album, because it needs a whole lot more eyes on it. It was really one of Protect's best works. And if you don't feel like listening to an entire album, because that is a dedication, I'm just gonna give 2 songs that are my personal favorites off the project. Those being Sly Cooper and Hasta La Vista. But yeah, I got 500 Days of Summer as my number 4 on this list, and let's move on to number 3. So for my number 3 on this list, it's gonna be Psychotic. Psychotic is Osamason's latest album that he has put out, and it has been a wild road to the release of this album. From the leaks to the Osama Hub drama to the fans just going wild, it has been a wild time to get to Psychotic. And when it actually released, it fit everything that I wanted it to be, and it was entirely what I expected. It's loud, it's distorted, and it has that rage sound that the underground is known for. And it was actually what I wanted it to be. Yes, we have that signature loud, distorted rage sound in the underground for a long time now, but there's something that Osamason's team and his production brings to the table that no other artist in the underground scene could replicate. Osamason's team of producers, whether it be Legion, Gyro, or any of them that had a work on Psychotic, paired up with Osamason's vocals and the way how he floats on those beats, and he kind of has a side of melodicness with every single song on that album. It just goes together really, really well. And this album is more comparable to a Flex music than it is for any other album in Osamason's discography. And this album, I think, is more made for concerts. This is a concert album at its core. This album is made for the mosh pits, the ragers. So I feel like the tour is gonna go pretty insane, in which it has started already, and it is going crazy. But in terms of my personal enjoyments, while I did like the album and it is what I expected, it is not Osamason's best in my opinion. And this album has some of my favorite Osamason songs, but it's not my favorite body of work that he has put out. But this album is not bad by any means. It's probably going to propel Osamason further into the mainstream eyes than even any of us could expect. And with what I've already seen with the numbers and the amount of promo behind this album, it's definitely a commercial success, if anything. But once again, not my favorite, but still a very good album, and that's why it's number 3 on my list. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of Psychotic, and now we're gonna move on to number 2 on my list. All right, so number 2 on my list is actually gonna be Nine Vicious's For Nothing. For Nothing is Nine's second studio album this year, his first one being Tumblr Music, but that one really didn't make my top 5, to be honest. I don't know what it was about that album, but it wasn't bad, but it just did not stack up to For Nothing at all. For Nothing was completely Nine, like it was no features, it was nothing. It was just Nine and Ahmed and whatever other producers even hopped on that album, but I'm pretty sure it was executively produced by Ahmed. And while I do know that Nine has tons and tons of controversies and tons of beef, I'm not gonna let that cloud my judgment of how good his music actually is. One thing I could say about Nine Vicious is he definitely knows how to use his voice on all his tracks. He knows how to float on those beats that Ahmed produces for him. He is very different. He's not like the rest of the artists in this scene. He knows when to hype up his voice. He knows when to really bring the mood of the song up, and he knows when to just be chill on the project. And I really love the use of samples in Nine's production all the time, because that's kind of like what he's known for. He samples these older songs with more soulful tunes, and he twists them in his own way. Nine is one of the few artists that are actually bringing something different to the underground scene, not just loud 808 to it. First honorable mention is going to be Lil Rack's album Lil Rico, and a lot of people are just now tapping into Lil Rack's, but I kind of like this album. It basically had no rollout, but the songs on it were really fun. It was not a too serious of an album. I had my fun listening to it. One of my favorite songs was Pop Smoke 'em, but if you guys haven't heard it already, I definitely recommend you guys go check it out. My second honorable mention is going to be Culture by TDF. That's basically a producer album where he had artists like 1AM, Osana, OK Mar, all of them basically rap on TDF beats the entire time. And I feel like the album was really put together. I like the transitions on it. I personally really enjoy 1AM's production on that album. My third honorable mention is going to be Pretty Fun's Deluxe for his album that released last year. I really tapped into Pretty Fun heavy with this deluxe, and I enjoyed it a lot when it was still in my rotation on my playlist. But more specifically, the singles run on the lead up to this deluxe was crazy. Unfazed, Famous, those are some of my favorite songs by Pretty, but definitely go listen to that album too. My last honorable mention on this list is going to be 1AM's album Sin Ever After, and I know it hasn't released yet at the time of this recording, but he already dropped the track list, and most of the snippets that I like are going to be on the album. I already know it's going to be one of my favorites from all of the albums that released this year, so I just have to give it my flowers now. And finally, on to my favorite album of 2025 and the number one on this list, and that spot is gonna go to Osamason's Jump Out. I'm pretty sure Jump Out was supposed to be released in 2024 alongside Netspen's album BAFK, but due to leaks and that whole situation that happened last year, it got released in 2025. And looking back at this album, I'll always say it could have been 10 times better than it was, because a lot of the songs that were grails got leaked and they just didn't make the cut for the album. But that still does not change the way how I view this album. Jump Out is easily one of my favorite albums out of the underground scene and from Osamason by a long shot. I have almost every single song added to my playlist, and the reason why I like this album so much, while it does have that kind of rage sound that the underground is known for, it's evolved by Ok's production. It's not those usual loud 808s, and like, it didn't leave me puzzled after the first listen. I instantly got this album. From his more harder flow tracks to his more melodic songs, I liked every single song on this album. I like the cover art of it, and even though we only got one visual from it, which that being the music video for Ref, I like that music video a whole lot. It kind of has the same vibe as the freestyle video from the Flex Music era. And while Psychotic is a really good album, as I said before, it made my top 3, Jump Out is always probably going to be my top 1 from Osamason. I feel like he was rapping a whole lot more on this album, like very clearly. Some of my favorite songs are Ref, Frontin', and Round of Applause. I feel like Jump Out really did bring something different to the scene, and I would love to see him tap into that kind of wave a little bit more in his next album. But yeah, those are my top 5 albums at the current moment for 2025. I doubt we'll have any more major releases other than Netspen's album, but we'll see about that. But if you guys agree with my list, let me know down in the comments, and if you guys don't agree with my list, let me know what you guys would change down in the comments, and let me know your guys' top 5 in its entirety as well. Other than that, let me know what other videos you guys would like to see from me in the future, whether it be more discussion videos or my top 5s or anything. Let me know down in the comments. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Love you guys. Peace.